Hi guys, it's Kath, and we are back for another live podcast of Shine as an Educator. And how has your week been? Has it been great? I'm fiddling. I've popped up really focused around the gift of time. I don't know if you've read some of the Simple Reflect posts, but quite a bit of what we talked about last week got me reflecting on how I'm spending my time with the children and what I'm encouraging the children to do. And there was two beautiful discussions with educators this week. One was on the Simple Reflect page about educators expecting their children to just do too much in a day, and how are we actually encouraging our children to take a step back and enjoy what they were doing and spend time what they were doing. And this educator spoke about how when they went through A&R, that they were very strongly suggested to that they were doing too much with their children. They were including too much in the day, and they were really pushing their children from one planned experience to another too quickly. And that got me thinking about the next discussion I had with an educator actually on the phone, and she was like, I'm not keeping up. How can I keep up with this? I'm doing all of these things. And she started listing off all the beautiful things that she was doing, and I said to her, are you doing all of that in one day? She's like, yes. Oh yes, and I'll keep going. Okay, so now I want us to step back and say, are we actually doing too much with our children? Are we not giving them the gift of time? And so I really wanted to think about how we spending our time, but also how are we encouraging or forcing sometimes the children to spend their time, and how can our reflective practice really move us forward in this point. So I did have a bit of an aha moment myself, because I have a huge amount on my plate. I really move from one thing to another myself in a really, sometimes structured but not structured way with myself. So for me then to turn around to say to educators, you're doing too much, didn't feel right. It didn't feel aligned. And I was a little bit, how can I tell educators they're doing too much? But then when I look at what I do with the children through the day, and I look at the actual experiences that I plan for them and that I encourage them to do, if they are still on an experience, I will leave them to it. There is no need to bring out the next planned experience if they're not finished with the last one, if they're not ready. If you're going to have to fight them to move them on to the next one, then that next one should be missed. It really should be. And we're able to give our children real choices. We can ask them if they would like the next experience. We can allow them to choose when they're ready to move on to the next experience, or we can encourage them to stay with that experience for a little bit longer. We do not have to have every single minute that we have the children in care with us planned and structured out. One, they're not ready for that. Play-based. We speak about play-based all the time. Allow the children time to play. You know, we don't want to teach them just to be busy. And I know, and you may be one of them, I think I am definitely, that sometimes we are not wanting to teach our children to be busy all the time. That is not what being a well-balanced human being is all about. And to encourage our children to absolutely cram pack every single little minute planned in our day, it just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't feel right. So we don't want them to be rushed every day. We don't want to be pushing them to do more, and we don't want to jam pack their day into being just busy. It's just not fair. So children need time. They need time to ponder. They need time to be in their surrounds, and they need time to literally just be. So to explore, to really think about what they like and really be able to make the decisions that they need to make. So allowing for rest, allowing time for children to explore and build their confidence around exploring, and just allowing children to be. So rather than forcing all the time, every minute does not need to be scheduled. And you do not need to go from one planned experience to another planned experience to another planned experience. It's just not how our day needs to flow. So we are here to support the children in their development, not to force it and not to make it busy all the time. That is not what an educator's role is. We're about developing, encouraging, supporting the whole child. And that includes their emotions. That includes their time for rest and downtime. That includes learning time, of course. But children learn when they want to learn, and they learn what they need to learn. And that is not necessarily from us cram-packing experience after experience into their environment. So they need to build their own confidence and ability to make choices, to explore, and to know what they are interested in. So your critical reflection question today, and I did take a little bit to get there, your critical reflection question today is, do your children need the gift of time? Is that what they need right now? So are you going from planned experience to planned experience without really allowing them the choice or allowing them the time that they might need between experiences? And when I ran the Programming Bootcamp in the EYP Mastermind, I spoke to educators about routines and allowing the flow of the day, not forcing it, not encouraging it to be busy all the time, but allowing the flow of the day, as well as when they were planning in their program. So think about that. When you're planning in your program, is there too much in it? Is there too much busy in certain days? So peel the layers back in your program. How much are you actually planning? So could you step back and plan, and this is how I love to start teaching program, 1 main intentional teaching experiences, 1 main follow-up for the day, and 1 that looking for a spontaneous experience. So that's 3 points to look for through the day, or 3 planned things to look for through the day, to encourage the children to spend more time on spontaneous experiences. So your challenge today is peel back the layers, intentionally allow more time, and more time for the day, more time to flow, more time for the children to make choices, more time around not directing the children exactly what to do. So this will mean redirecting some of the children, absolutely, because some children, they'll come back to you for reassurance. They won't quite know what to do. They'll be used to every second of their time being planned. And some parents have a really big habit of this, and I actually do talk to parents about overscheduling their children in a polite and respectful way, but also how much they're jam-packing into each child's actual week. So look at your child's week as a whole. Don't look at each individual day. And this is something educators can do as well. Look at your week as a whole. Are you jam-packing too much into a whole week? Could what you actually have planned for this week have been done over 2 weeks? So when we have children that don't cope with not having every second planned. It is about teaching them new skills. It's about recognizing that they might need redirecting regularly, really regularly. They might need positive encouragement. They will need to learn skills around this area. They will need to learn around building their confidence, and you need to encourage this as an educator. You need to encourage this skill to be built, and around having their confidence, but around going and looking for the interests that they haven't found yet either. What in your care setting are you offering the children regularly that some of the children just haven't even found yet because you haven't directed them to it? A little food for thought, I think. Now, our top tip today is set 3 intentions around your day. The intentional teaching, the follow-ups, and spontaneous learning. So 3 intentions around the day. And put as much awareness around your spontaneous experiences as you do any other part of learning. So the children in your care need your gift of time. And when I said that to one educator, she's like, oh, I already spend so much time with the children. But that's not what I mean. I mean allowing the children space and time. Space and time to grow and develop. Space and time to have the freedom, if they will, to be. When they are interested, when they are engaged, when they have found something special, allow them the space and time for them to be in the moment. Don't try and move them on to the next thing. Allow them time to be. So make sure you have downloaded the reflective practice sheet and pop this one down and really have a think about it over the week. Spend some time on it. Spend some time thinking about, is this an area that you need to grow in? So is it an area that you can make a real change in your care setting? And sometimes it takes a little bit of a nudge for us to go, oh, okay. And in this instance, why am I cramming so much into the day? And sometimes it's really not of benefit to the children to put that much into a day. It's just not. So is this an area that you could make a real change in that will benefit the children in your care and you as an educator? Allow yourself more time between experiences as well. Do you as an educator have a habit of really rushing from one to the next, and then at the end of the day feeling exhausted? It doesn't need to be that way, and that doesn't necessarily benefit the children in our care. So if you are listening in our podcast, be sure to pop into the group and let me know how this really feels for you. If this is something that you really need to have a look at, and if you're here with me live in the Shyness and Educator group, I'd love to know your take on this as well. Is this something that you really need to look at? Now, I think at some stage through all educators' journeys, we really do have to assess and reassess and reassess again how many things we are expecting the children to move from one thing to another in the day, and how many things are we really putting out for the children to do, or are we, as our intentional teaching, are we doing too much through the day? How many things can children truly do in a real way and that is benefit for them in each day? And take a step back and really look at that as an educator. So that is all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful week. I would love to know what you think. And remember to shine. Bye, guys.